Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Na'Vi to take on Big. And this is a match that many may not have expected to be happening this early on. And I look to Pimp and Vendetta to help me explain how this one could work. Because Na'Vi, a team at times we can praise so highly, and they can drop down so low. Now, there was a lot of questions straight off the bat with their match against Vincere, especially around the veto situation. They lost in a tragic way on the first map. Then on Train, you see Simple and Electronic pretty much do what they do best, right? Just pop heads and run around and watch the rest of Na'Vi. Watch them just destroy the opponents. And then we come into Nuke, which was the questionable choice. And Vici, full credit to them, they seemed much more prepared.
It's a classic Na'Vi. It's first game in the tournament. For some reason, it feels like they're never really ready when they come into a tournament. It feels like they always try to jeopardize a little bit. They try to gamble a little bit in terms of the veto, as we also saw yesterday. So, I mean, give credit to Vici Gaming. They definitely played a good game. But Na'Vi, it's, as you said, you never know where you have them, especially in the first game. So coming into this matchup against Big, I expect them to be fired up on all cylinders. I expect them to be Na'Vi that at the best day can win a tournament like this. But again, you never know. Na'Vi and Simple Electronic, it's just a wild card sometimes. Yeah,
and like in many ways, this is the actual first match of the tournament for Na'Vi, because they have this bit of a syndrome where they don't realize, I don't know, that they've actually started the tournament or something to that effect. But yeah, it is a bit of a thing. Same thing, was very common for Envious, the old French squad, back in 2015. They would continuously, 2014 for that matter as well, they constantly start out tournaments with a loss and then end up in the finals. So I mean, if that's, if you can make that into a trend, then sure, you're not too worried about Na'Vi, but it still wasn't a very pretty result.
Now, we look at that, right? We saw the map statistics come up, and Na'Vi, they've played Nuke 3 times. We take away the one they played against Vici. They still hadn't won any games on it, so that logic goes out the window as to why they chose it. Now, one of the things I want to look at is during the major, right, we saw Flamey at times be able to step up to a level of more acceptable. But across that Vici series, he was pretty much down and out, non-existent. We need to see more than just Simple and Electronic, right? It takes more than just 2 players to win games.
And that's what's so odd about Na'Vi, because I think we saw them at the major play some good Counter-Strike. I think we saw them play up to some of the best Counter-Strike that Na'Vi can play with the iteration of this lineup. As you said, Flamey was definitely a great player for them. I think he was the second highest rated player for them throughout the major. Obviously, Simple being the best. But let's not forget that Simple and Na'Vi, and in particular Simple, he was one little centimeter away from beating that N-Sky in that 1-on-3 scenario in the third map in the major, and then it would have been Na'Vi in the final of a major, and we would be talking here about a lineup that is in a good streak, that is feeling good, all that kind of stuff. Now, we talk about Na'Vi as they're in a bad period. We talk about Na'Vi as their wild card. We talk about Na'Vi being a team that we can't really identify it and say we're gonna place them right here. They're a top 3 team right now. They should be winning against these and these and these teams. We can't do that with Na'Vi. It's such a wild card all the time, and it's a little bit weird when you consider you have 2 of the best players in the world together on one lineup.
And I think that's where the I guess innate issue lies for them as well. The fact that they're so heavily reliant, or they have been at least in the past, so heavily reliant on Simple, basically playing an unprecedented level of Counter-Strike for such a long period of time, and now he's finally getting some backup from Electronic, and it's like that duo in itself is what's powering them through in a lot of these instances. Obviously, when we saw Flamey kind of getting activated back into his old self at the major, that's when you start to think like, this could actually be it. This could be the Na'Vi version that wins a major. I mean, not just off of the back of that, it's just the fact that Edward was also having his best LAN performance in quite a while as well. But then, then they fall back. I mean, they're so up and down with it. I mean, they went through ICE tournament in London right leading up to the major with a disappointing loss towards North. Obviously, starting off the tournament here in not too much of a positive manner. It's impossible to really know what you're expecting. And I think the fact that you hear all these rumors and reports come out of internal issues within the team, players arguing, practice getting canceled because certain players are squabbling with each other, so they can't actually just have a normal practice that they've scheduled. All those kind of things just add to the flame and add to the, I guess, uncertainty around this Na'Vi squad, because there's no denying their individual skill, or just potential at least.
Well, talking about the kind of practicing that goes on between teams, Big is a team that we praise for the practice and preparation that they put in so regularly, but it hasn't looked too pretty since Zantares has come along. Now, I have the pleasure of speaking to a lot of the big players, and I was having a conversation with them prior to this, and one of the things they mentioned was they literally had a few days of practice just ahead of this, less than ideal for them because they had visa issues with Zonteras. So there is potential. Only 3 hours before his flight did they even know that he was going to make it to the event.
Okay.
So a little bit of a problem for them in that side of things. But Zonteras is a player that we've kind of said, yes, individually he's one of these amazing players, so explosive on the server, but the interesting thing is they are still communicating in English. Gob's having to help out by speaking Turkish to Zonteras every now and again to help him fully understand everything, because we've known from Zonteras English isn't exactly the strongest for him.
Yeah, and one of the issues as well, and obviously that's going to have a massive impact as to what he's able to focus on in the game. And obviously we talk about Zonteras as one of these extreme individual players where we're almost, portraying it as like, oh, it's a bit of a shame that he's from a region that doesn't have a big Counter-Strike scene in that sense, where he wouldn't just automatically be a part of one of the top teams in the world. That was always the storyline behind Zonteras, how he had to drag, his teams kicking and screaming into any sort of success. He hasn't really been the same player ever since joining Big, and there's no denying it. He's not the same kind of guy who's pretty much a guarantee for 25 frags a game. Like, he's not able to do that anymore. It's still a Big that very much relies on taps and being amazing. Luckily for them, he does that quite often, and that's why we're seeing Big be competitive a lot of the time. But I think now, as much as people have a lot of opinions about Smooya as a player or a person, but one thing they got was actually pretty consistent performance out of him. Now on the team, now on the side of Big, you don't really have that many consistent performers. Next is a player who's been very much up and down throughout his entire career. Now Zonteras have become a player who's quite up and down within Big. So what do you build off of? How do you rely on anyone to actually step up outside of Tabs? Because again, you can't win Counter-Strike games alone all the time. You can do it sometimes, but it's not going to be a recipe for success.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems with this Big lineup right now, the identity crisis it seems they have. Next in and out of the lineup, Smooya in and out of the lineup, now Zonteras coming in. Everyone expecting him to be, as you said, the same Zonteras he was when he was playing with the other guys from Space Soldiers. He hasn't been able to deliver. Big as a team hasn't been able to deliver. It feels like the strict direction we saw from them coming out, especially that gave them success in the majors, being very, very prepared coming into all the games, anti-stratting a lot, playing some fundamental sound Counter-Strike. It seems like they moved away a little bit from that to sort of like accommodate Zonteras, to accommodate Next coming back into the lineup, and all of a sudden you find Big in a position where they don't really have that identity anymore. Nobody really fears playing Big at the moment because they don't really have anything that is attached to them as a strong suit. Before it was Smooya, before it was that strong foundation behind the Gob calls. Now it just seems like a team of individuals where you have Zonteras, you have Tabson, you have Nex, who all three can be potential superstars, but not at the same time, and they're not delivering right now, and that is a big problem for them, especially when you consider they're facing two of the best players in the world right now in Electronic and Simple. I'm going to have a hard time seeing how Big exactly is going to win this one.
Now, Big may have a good track record previously against Na'Vi, and we look at the picks and bans on the screen at the moment. Cash is the insta-ban for Na'Vi, Nuke the insta-ban for Big. Then we get a Mirage pick from Na'Vi and a Dust 2 pick from Big, so going for their strengths. It's where we're going to end is going to be the question.
For just right off the bat, I'm very surprised by the fact that Big ends up picking Dust 2 versus Na'Vi. Na'Vi has shown that they're perfectly willing to play that. Again, ideal map for a player like Simple or Electronic, or even Flamey for that matter. They do run into the issue of the fact that Cash is their best map, and that's also the permaban for the side of Na'Vi. But still, they have more strings to play off of than having to go into Dust 2, which is, again, one of the better maps that Na'Vi have in their pool as of right now. Because I think one thing that was very evident by the fact that we did see Nuke coming into play in the first matchup is the fact that Na'Vi are not necessarily set on their map pool. They don't feel as safe about it as they could have done. They don't necessarily have 6 strong maps. They might have 5 pretty good maps. So I definitely think there was more wiggle room on the side of Big to do things there. And I think there's a limit to how much you can necessarily anti-strat like a CT or TE side on Dust 2 as well. I think again, you're allowed individuals to shine. Maybe that is kind of what they're going to with what Jacob mentioned, the fact that they are in a bit of a identity crisis. They don't know if they're going to be that structurally sound team or if they're going to let the individuals shine. Dust 2 pick might lean towards the individuals shining through.
And that's it, right, on both the opening matches, really, Mirage and Dust 2, those individual skills really can shine. And in both matches, especially with Big's recent form, Na'Vi look the strongest out of both of them.
I would say so. You can even see it on a map like Dust 2 here, which is the one big picked up against Na'Vi. They've lost the past 3 games, against Vitality, Valiant, and Windigo. Not bad teams by any means, but teams that if you're big and you have ambitions of becoming a top 8 team in the world, which is a clear ambition for them, you should be able to consistently beat those teams, or at least give them a better fight than they have done. So, as you said, you know, this whole map veto and this whole scenario going up against Na'Vi, it's not looking good for them. Look at Overpass as well, right? The past 6 games they played, they only won 1 against them. You know, the past 5 they lost against teams that they should be able to pick up a win or 2 against at least. So we talk about Na'Vi coming into a tournament starting out slow. We talk about Symbol, you know, being the best player in the world. Those are the 2 things that we can always, you know, attach to Na'Vi. But apart from that, we don't know where Flamey is. We saw him at the major play, some of the best Counter-Strike he's done this year, or at least last year as well. Is he getting turned up? Is he fired up? Together with Electronic, together with Symbol, all of a sudden you have a team that I believe can win the entire tournament. If Flamey is missing, if Electronic is just playing on 80 or 90% and Symbol is just having one of the normal events where he's just posting, you know, a 1.30 rating, just whatever that may be, right? Na'Vi is not a team that is strong enough, you know, fundamental to beat some of the best teams here. The good thing for them is I don't think Big is at the level right now to challenge Na'Vi at all, especially not considering with this map pool. I'm very disappointed in Big, and I want to see them. I want to see them play well here, right? Otherwise, I'm going to start losing hope in this whole project, which I feel, as I said before, has taken a turn from being a fundamental strong team, which core values you knew, into a team which is just a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say at the moment that Na'Vi are the clear favourites in this scenario based on what we were just saying there. But do we think this can at least be competitive in some way, given what we've seen? I mean, or does it really depends what Na'Vi show up on? I
think Dust 2 still might be a competitive map, even though I would have liked to seen Big take, I guess, a bigger chance in that sense. Yes, like Dust 2 is a map they've played a lot, but they haven't had, as we've seen, too much success on it. It's been up and down. I think they could have gone on a different route. But again, Dust 2, we've seen it in the past. Like, not even Astralis look unbeatable on that map. Nobody's really figured it out to the sense where they can actually confidently say that Dust 2 is our home ground. This is where we're going to, you know, beat everyone else. Nobody has done that yet. So even though that's not necessarily good considering it's Big's map pick, it might lead to a close contest. But like for a map like Mirage, which is Navi's map, I think that's going to be very one-sided unless we see some absolutely crazy heroics from multiple individuals on the side of Big.
And that's it, right? What it comes down to is the performances from the big players. We can rely on Tabson pretty much across the board, but it's everyone else that we've got the question marks around, right?
That's a pretty early place to like kind of cut it off. Yeah. Like, we can rely on Tabson,
and then it's just like, oh
yeah, like you're gonna have issues, right?
And that's the problem, right? Because even if you can rely on a Shantaris, even if he turns up in this game and has one of the good games for him, right, you still have a Symbol that is gonna match him any given day. Let's say Nex is having a good game, you're still gonna have an Electronic on Na'Vi that is gonna match him any given day. The one thing you have going for you, the one interesting aspect to this game, I would say, is the fact that you have Zeus going up against GOB, 2 legends from 1.6, 2 players that have the same style in terms of like how they want to play the game. They want to have a strong foundation. They want to have some clear strats. Zeus likes to play slow sometimes. So does GOB. Both of them, you know, arguably not the best fraggers. You know, probably going to be at the bottom of the scoreboard. So there's going to be a little internal duel, a game within the game, so to speak, between those 2. And whichever of these 2 players can step it up just a tiny bit more, which we did see Zeus do at the major, is probably going to have the upper hand, because I think the other individuals on the team is going to match each other fairly well.
And one thing that's actually pretty cool as well, like this is always a fun thing to see when teams go up against Na'Vi, because it became a pretty apparent trend that teams wanted to abuse Zeus, because individually he is by far the weakest player on the side of Na'Vi. You know, not that there's any shame in that considering the other individuals there, but it became a thing where if you knew the side that Zeus was playing at, you'd have a majority of your hits coming towards that. And obviously, Na'Vi being the team they are, they do notice these kind of things to the point where eventually they'll just swap out Zeus with Simple, and all of a sudden you're screaming of terror if you're running into Simple instead. And like it's that kind of dynamic, like seeing how GOB figures out if they're actually going to gamble stack towards Zeus's bomb site each and every time, or if they actually have something figured out as to like, it takes 3 rounds before Simple is swapped out with Zeus for certain positions, and then they do that for 2 rounds before they swap out. Like all these kind of like small adjustments that Na'Vi makes because they know people try to target certain aspects of their defense. Like that's going to be really interesting to see if GOB is kind of figured out.
Now, we had a lot of speculation obviously around Na'Vi after the major changes to come in. They've stuck with this roster once again, and this is probably a weird little bit of a tidbit to bring up, but on Zeus's Instagram, he even showed a bit where they were all having a conference call because they haven't had any official matches since the major. This is their first time, and he's like, throwing up them random FaceTime little images and stuff with their faces, which to me just shows at least a bit of good spirit in there and them still holding it together, right? Because one of the things you did look at was them all being very separated.
Yeah, it's a good question, right? I think when there's so many rumors surrounding a team like Na'Vi, in terms of, we had all that social media thing where Simple is no longer following Zeus on Instagram, and there's, you know, rumors around some internal conflicts and all that kind of stuff. Often, you know, and this comes from a player that has been a part of that media race as well, often there's something to be said about it. Not necessarily true, everything that's being written in the medias or being said on Twitter, but something is definitely going on within the Na'Vi camp. Whatever they've managed to fix that or solve that during the major, which it seemed like they had, good question. I think coming into this tournament, it's a Na'Vi that, again, you know, if we can't see them consistently perform at a tournament of the level of Starladder, well, Na'Vi doesn't have a future with these 5 men. I consider Na'Vi to be a team that should be able to challenge Liquid, they should be able to challenge Astralis to some degree, and they should be able to like manifest themselves as at least a top 3 team in the world. If they have so many internal problems and so many stuff going on, there's no way you can consistently keep doing that. So you gotta figure it out. You gotta see, you know, where's our problems, where's the solutions, and how can we move forward. Winning a tournament like this obviously solves a lot of the runes, but on the other hand, if it means that Na'Vi has to bow out of this tournament, have to have a horrible performance for them to realize that something needs to happen, then I'm fine with it. Something needs to happen, because I do feel that when you have 2 of the best players in the world stacked on one team, you should be able to contest with the best in the world. And right now, I'm a little bit unsure whether Na'Vi is going to be able to consistently do that.
Well, it's time for them to prove it, guys. Thank you for all your thoughts. As if you guys, before the game, may want to open some cases and grab yourself some new skins, you can head over to Hellcase, and you can also use the code SLTV if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do to grab yourself some new skins, go ahead. But what it is time to do is get into our game. It's the first match between Na'Vi and Big, and James and Dan, they've come back from that epic best of 3 they've just had, and they've got to deliver the same powerful pace once again. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Indeed, we are going to be starting things off on Mirage. Of course, Cash is the auto veto of Na'Vi, which doesn't leave Big in a good spot, because looking at the stats on HLTV, overpass aside, where the stats aren't great for either side, with the data available, I think Na'Vi have better results on pretty much every other map. But you heard the talk of the analyst desk there in terms of the pros and cons for Big in their current position, with the slightly revolving door they've had with players, Smooya coming and going and so on, and the issues on Na'Vi as well. By no means is it an open and shut case. There is, you can never count God be out, as, you know, looking at historically is one thing, but he's one of the more prepared in-game leaders. He's always got something up his sleeve, always something new to bring to the table. So I'm very curious to see how they can try to neutralize the likes of Simple, who is very good on the CT side of Mirage, and that is where they will start Na'Vi.
Yeah, I recently did like at the major, I kind of studied Na'Vi versus Liquid on Mirage, and so I have a lot to say about how Na'Vi like to play Mirage. On the T side specifically, they are quite good. And look at this stack here towards the B bomb site there from Na'Vi. I actually expect Na'Vi to really start this series off well. I would be surprised if Big can have a strong performance on Mirage, so I'll be very pleasantly surprised to see if that is the case. And they can start that with a pistol victory. So the Molotov into the window position to allow a cleaner entry through middle, and the CT setup is already moving towards the A bomb site here, but Zeus is going to find one in the back as Tabson tries to back off, and this is not the best start. You want those numbers to swarm the bomb sites. They've invested in a lot of utility, still got to be with the smoke and flashes to get them on a plant, but 1 minute left now, and Na'Vi starting to wonder, what are they up to? Oh, Edward will find one.
Got to find a kill though. Pushes the position, saves himself from the jungle area, but that's been taken care of by Simple. That's not really the range for Next with the Glock, but he has no choice now. He'll get one shot by Simple. One in the face will be enough with the USP. Simple is a man. I gave him a fridge magnet. There was a video tour of his apartment, and he's got loads of magnets on his fridge. So I gave him an Andy Warhol fridge magnet from the Saatchi Gallery in London, which he was looking forward to. He came up to me at the Face of Majors like, "Hey man, where's my present?" It was in my bag, so hopefully it's on his fridge now.
Nice. Well, good start for Na'Vi, and it's going to be an A play coming in from Big. Na'Vi will take some mid control and leave Electronic to his own devices. That's HE will not connect to really anything. He's got Simple the backup as well. Simple just staying on the USP. This will be an interesting round. There's no Kevlar, there's no helmets, and you can see that Simple is going to be able to make some money with that USP, making it look really easy. And so far, so good.
Yeah, we spoke about the situation on the previous map, and Mirage is probably the map where you're going to see this the most, where the sniper goes USP only in the second round. I think on a previous Mirage yesterday, we saw a player pick up a scout, but this is something that a few snipers will do. You can see Device doing this on occasion as well, going straight for the AWP on the next round. Sometimes, depending on what happened in the pistol, you want to make sure that you don't die, because sometimes you are even $50 short. So smoke up top. Do Big there go through the smoke? Edward making his way up. Nice Molotov just in case somebody's sneaking around the bin. And if they did push that smoke, there is a Simple behind it. You can see they are jump peeking over the top of it, Big. But what will they do afterwards? Once that smoke goes, what is their play? Ooh, aggression all over the place.
Yeah, it's cool to see the B apartments under control there from Zeus. Get some smukes into middle there from Big. And Flamey still able to see towards top mid if there's anyone to cross over to the boxes, but a minute left and Big are finally going back to B with all their forces. And with Na'Vi having 2 players on the T steps, they do have a pretty good idea, I think, of what's happening. And Flamey will have to rotate to assist Zeus, who's only got an MP9, so he's not really got a lot of stopping power versus these AK-47s when they decide to come in. See the nades will be tossed forwards as Big now set their sights on the B-bomb site.
Flamey has moved into position, and there's a third player but in the market. Molotovs have slowed him down. Big are trapped, and they've gone from 1 to 3 players on the B-bomb site, Na'Vi. And Big are at the point of no return. Simple starts in the window position. Another one. Xantara's taken out. No response from Big just yet. Next finally getting a kill. We've got plays in the red. They're stuck in the choke point, just making out of the window. And maybe there's a chance. Zeus cleaning house with the MP9, but we're in 2 versus 1. There are 12 seconds for the bomb to go down. There can be a peek from the short position. Tabson's at the point of no return, just spotted from short. And here comes the push. Edward will take him out immediately after planting. The AWP can be collected. And some grenades as well. So Big went for that long-range execute. The grenades thrown from far away, telegraphed to play. But credit to Na'Vi, there's a few things to talk about there. They went for the smoke up top. If you push that, you're facing Simple mid. But they also had the aggressive smoke in B apartments. So if Big were expecting 2 or 3 people to be in mid, it wasn't really safe for them to try and make a play towards the B bomb site and punish that because of that smoke. They didn't know what's behind it. And Na'Vi had 2 players towards the ramp as well. So they had a very firm setup. They knew exactly what they wanted to do and how they could be punished, and they stopped that from happening. That's a great first buy round from Na'Vi.
Yeah, it's not gone well for Big so far. They're only on 4 kills, I think, overall. So only 4 deaths to Na'Vi. So the money's beginning to be in a position where it can build. But they have to continue in such ways. And Flamey goes down to Tizian. Headshot with that Deagle. And now things get a little bit uncomfortable. Pistol's pushing close. Simple can handle someone with an AWP at any range. Doesn't really matter. Electronic as well, getting the bullets in. Edward wants a piece, and they've got the bomb under control there, deep on the A-bomb site, as all of Na'Vi rotate into position. Xantaris, though, with the CZ, picks himself up an M4, and he will get finished off. So some damage being done here by Big, and I think that's the important thing. You want to make sure that the Na'Vi economy is kept in check on this CT side for as long as you possibly can.
I don't know if Simple was playing off of a flashbang. Okay, let's see what Tizian can do. There's a minute on the clock. He's a 1 versus 2, and now he's dead. So I don't know if Simple was playing with a flashbang behind him, or if he was purely playing on the sound cues, the way he was standing in the smoke, ran out when he knew a player was close and got the shotgun game on point. It's good that Xantares wasn't able to escape with an M4A4. Again, we're seeing big odds at the beginning of this series. 4.03 if you want to put your money the way of Big. I mean, again, statistically, looking at the numbers on the maps and so on, it doesn't look good for Big historically, but there's always a chance for change, especially with Gobby at the helm. Never, never, never count him out. Flashbangs up top. No one's crossed towards the boxes just yet. Simple has a limited time to stand in that position because of the underpass, but of course it's Simple, so he'll just go and check that himself, and that buys himself a few more seconds.
So Big after that mid harassment, moving towards the A-bomb site for an attack. And there's no one really playing deep on this site. Electronics on the retake position towards the ticket booth. Flamey on around the stairs. Obviously, they will be able to throw a smoke. I think Godby's got the is going to throw, or is it? Well, someone's going to throw the stairs smoke, surely. Which will not allow Flamey to do too much. But no, there's actually no smoke for the stairs position. Flamey's got isolated. They're peeking before it goes down, and Flamey gets 2 kills out of it before being traded out. But to trade that, Nex has to go wide into the open. He does manage to get 2 kills out of it, though. That's a really good performance from Nex. Edward coming in from CT now is going to be able to, hopefully, for Simple's sake, help him get into some kind of a position from behind the smoke. And they have massive problems in Edward. He's just looking to do this by himself as he moves forward towards Triple, looking for the next possible engagement. Flashes out, and Nex is eliminated. That got a little bit hairy there for a moment.
It was a little dicey, but 5-0. The clean sheet is very, very important. I do wonder if Big get a round soon with the damage they've done here and there. I do wonder if we'll get one of those weird economic scenarios where Na'Vi end up in Eco Town. Tactical pause from Big reasonably early. Corby not on the scoreboard just yet. He's a man who often leads by example. We can see him do interesting things on overpass should it go that far, but for now then he's got to find a way into Mirage. Simple starting 9 for 1 is not what you want to see when you're Big, but it is Mirage, and this is what you expect from Simple.
Yeah, also the case that he gets the AWP like really quickly, gets into that comfort zone, but I agree. As I mentioned as well, Na'Vi have a really awesome style of play on the T side, so I hope that Big can get some rounds just so that we can see that. I think that Na'Vi play a really awesome style of Counter-Strike that's a little bit less consistent than a Liquid or an Astralis. On their T sides, it's less default heavy, but it is really cool to see it at work. Either way, we'll get into that later on as we have the pistols back out, and with the skill on the side of Big, we can expect some 1Ds for Shores. Already saw Tizian delivering some nice ones previously, as he looks for another one towards that B-bomb site. It comes in. Will get it done though. Actually, a team kill. Oh dear. Tassin will shoot Tizian in the back. It was not supposed to be how it went. Now Edwards looking to get the kill. Antares is dealt with. It's looking pretty smooth so far for Na'Vi. Only 1 kill coming in for Big.
Edward escaping just in time, slowly moving back into a normal position. And there's a big pop as Zeus finishing off the job. A very comfortable start from Na'Vi, but again, this is, I mean, I guess you wouldn't expect it to feel so dominant early, but there aren't too many surprises just yet. Big back on the buy, and this is what the tactical timeout was for. Now they look to make a difference. Tabson picking up the AWP in lieu of Smuya, who has come and gone. I was disappointed to see him leave. He's in the wind at the moment. So look at the odds changing now. This they're really offering some wild numbers here so early on. It looks like GG better the ones taking the gambles at the moment.
Oh dear. That's not a good start for your T rounds. Xantares is down, the power player. New addition to Big. Obviously, Nex is the most recent player, but he was reintroduced after being on the bench for a while.
Look at the awareness from Simple. He knows how deep a T could potentially be. No chances being taken, it seems. Minute 15. Tizian thinking to himself, surely I can find an entry. The grenade starts to stream in. Surely there's footsteps are heard. Ooh. Straight in the head, of course, from Simple. That window position is being dominated by man like Simple.
He's so good.
They were in position to split the B bomb site, but now they're moving off short towards A. And who can blame them? Simple's on B. Let's go towards A.
He is so damn good. Opening frag, single-handedly defending against that attack. That could have been, if he just misses one of those shots, there's just so many opportunities for Big, but there is 0 opportunities, as you mentioned. Simple's around, it seems. The Zorbal's already doing incredible damage. Electronic now will be tested on the A-bomb side. I think he may be... Oh, I think there was a spot there for Godby to actually find a position on Electronic, as he would have wrapped around Triple, but instead, still gets it anyway. Krieg delivering the damage. Godby Now alone, he's lost his support. Going for the plant. At least get some money in the bag for the team. Zeus will swing in to finish off the job, but yeah, this was all like Simple really set everything up, forcing Big to just desperation, make some desperation play towards the A-bomb side, feeding the remainder of Big into the hands of the A defense. 12 for 1 now is Simple.
Yeah, and while you can't emulate Simple's Amazon drone level delivery on Mirage, again, he's a player who doesn't focus on the middle position, the window position on the CT side, because you spend a lot of time just getting smoked out of position. So he will sometimes be towards B, sometimes towards A, but he will be very effective wherever he chooses to go. So I think it's a great example of the other options, the less obvious options you have as a sniper on Mirage. Another tactical pause for Big, 0-7 in favor of Na'Vi. Now, what can Big do to get on the scoreboard? A dominant start. It is a best-of-3 series. Simple has died once. He is 12 for 1 at the moment.
Yeah, it's always a fun showing when Simple is just feeling it straight from the beginning, straight from the get-go. It's a competition for frags for Na'Vi when he's playing like this. And
towards the B bomb site, Big haven't really managed to get through the choke point, and when they've had one player jump out of the window, they've been a sitting duck for whatever CT wants to take the angle, and it normally has been Simple at the window, below the window, on the default spot. Just can't get through the choke point towards the B bomb site. Tabson looking for an entry, but he'll be smoked off. This will waste a lot of time for Big, who do seem to have a focus towards the A site this time, but Na'Vi have no one in mid and 3 people towards A. They are expectant. Maybe expecting Big to telegraph their intentions of grenades towards mid. They will continue to focus on A and have Flamey move up short to look towards connector.
So Na'Vi just biding their time at this point, waiting to see what the move will be for Big. They don't have to do anything right now. And Big just praying that maybe Na'Vi will make a mistake, but they've been pretty good so far. Just playing a straightforward style of play. Simple, very reliable. Flamey and Zeus on the B-bomb side for now. Simple elsewhere on the A side.
Look how static Na'Vi are towards A, however. Despite this sell of a fake with 2 players for Big, there are 4 smokes now somehow on the B bomb site, but they haven't really moved an inch to 3 players on the A bomb site. They are so prepared for Big at the moment, and the execute starts, but Gobby's moving away from A with the bomb. There are 25 seconds left. Where could he possibly be going? Tizian's trying to find something more on the B bomb site. It's such a long rotation for Gobby. They've got to take out Zeus on the B bomb site, but they failed to do that. Gobby's got basically no support. Tabson's got to find something. Zeus moving back. He can't be exposed to short. In the meantime, Edward getting a pick on A, but the action's on B. That's where the bomb is. They're trying to plant the bomb on the B bomb site, but surely there's no time to do this. Oh my god, what a hero play!
Still though, some have to finish it off and capitalize, but they're so weak, so low on HP. It's going to take a crazy performance from Xantares and Gobby to save this as everyone rotates around Na'Vi for the retake. Xantares takes one head off. There goes the trade. Up to Gobby now. Fearless leader takes one in the face from Simple, and that might just be the story of this half if things continue as they are. Oh, good effort, but still 8-0 coming up now for Na'Vi as they get the defuse.
It's great presence of mind from Gobby to consider that rotation in the first place once Na'Vi had 4 players, but really you have to know your numbers to be rotating like that with around about 25 seconds on the clock. That is scary stuff, and oh boy, Zeus was maybe a millimeter or 2 away from stopping that plant from going down in the first place. With the plant, Big get 4,200 for losing that round, and they're on a full buy once again, but it's 8-0. They're starting to run out of rounds to lose in this first half. 2 players in the window on this occasion. Grenades being deployed, Simple and Flamey quickly rotating. 3 smokes down in a short area, in the mid area rather. Tabson and Tizian escorting the bomb towards bottom mid, and they'll quickly take control of connector.
So, pretty fast pace for Big. You know, previous round they was playing a slow pace to really sell the fake. Xantares takes off Edward's head. And with that frag, Big are really in a position to go for that A take. However, the bomb is in middle, as are 4 of the Big players. And 2, are they going for a boost? I'm not sure exactly what they're doing in mid at the moment. But they are holding their position. And Na'Vi is just like a snail, moving very slowly all the way through CT, all of them. Or I should say like a snake. Like the Nokia Snake game, remember that, James?
I do, although I don't think they are the Nokia Snake game. Maybe just a snake, Dan, would be enough. the entire game, I don't know how that works.
I don't know, man. That's what it reminded me of.
They are the game of Snake.
The game of Snake, there you go.
What was that system before the Symbian? Who knows, but who cares? Big seem to be moving into this trap. They're not investigating towards the B-bomb site. Xantares on a late leg. Na'Vi have really done their study. They seem to know what Big are going to do before Big even do it in most cases. But can they deliver the kills? There's the bomb. That's all the information they needed. But now they've got to clean out the rest of them. They're lining up, but the trays will go both ways. Man advantage for Big. They've got 14 seconds to stop the bomb, to plant the bomb. But there it is. Now they can just hide and they will win the round. One of them might find next. The other one will simply run away. Worst case scenario. What a rotation from Na'Vi. All sit on the A bomb site. Big are definitely coming. You've got to have the belief they do, and they're at 8-0.
So this is that's like a peek into like what it looks like to see Na'Vi's T side as well. They are heavily read based, and they love to condition their opponents. They love to play against that expectation. That's something that they do very, very well. And what a cool! It's really, really cool to see. That is just like Na'Vi stuff right there. So
that's wild and amazing and awesome to see.
That's if you're that's one of the reasons that you should be a fan of Na'Vi. It's something that they bring to the table that you don't really see from any other team at the top at the level that they play at. I mean, arguably, if you really wanted to make a deep dive into like talking about Na'Vi and the potential they have, and maybe on the desk as they mentioned some of the potential that they haven't reached, then maybe you start to examine some of those things. But for the vast majority of teams, that's one of the reasons why Na'Vi is so difficult to play against. It's just when you get up to, against the Astralises and Team Liquids of the world where Na'Vi start to struggle. But either way, we're back into it, and Simple is 14-1 now. He's really not being challenged.
I wonder if Big can identify what just happened in that round, and if they can, what do you do? Do you throw the strap back out the window and just do something off the cuff so you're less predictable? In this particular round, they're going to make the best of what they have, looking for a fast play in towards the B-bomb site, maybe expecting Zeus to be here on his own, but there's a quick rotation. Simple's in that window position. Zeus not expecting the second place to be so close. Simple so fast that it flicks, moves and spots the player around the site now, moving in from the short position. Always difficult to come through this window or the door, because there's often a player around the right corner. He's going to rotate elsewhere after showing presence. Flamey's around the smoke, though, chasing onto the site, almost, but not quite. Next with multiple jobs to do, that smoke almost creating variance for Big. They've got 3 players left. Still with one pistol is Tabson, but he's been taken out. Now it's got B versus 2. Both coming in from that short position. Electronic will do the job on this occasion, and the clean sheet remains for Na'Vi.
That first shot that Simple hits actually like so annoyingly difficult to hit sometimes. What a performance from him. He's 16-1. He's just not missing a beat. Every opportunity, every decision that he takes, he just executes it, and people are dropping all over the place. 16-1. My God, James, he's beasting everyone. What do you do? How do you play against that? How do you play against Simple when he's playing so well? It's just so difficult.
The thing is, this obviously 10-0 looks really rough for Big, but it might be that they come into this series and look to win it in 3 maps. So obviously that doesn't mean you give up on Mirage, but they may not be terribly concerned. If their game plan is 3 maps, then I think that's good for the team, because it keeps them confident and be like, okay, this is obviously 10-0 is ideal, but we're expecting 3 maps, so whatever fashion we lose in Mirage, it doesn't matter as long as we stick to our game plan, which may be 3 maps. Trying to do something in the mid position, not quite working out for them. Charging through the smoke, gas is being taken, and they're not paying off in this situation. But again, maybe the long game is what it's about for Big, because there does not seem to be any way in, even to a round here on Mirage.
We saw 116-0 already this tournament, James. I'm starting to think we might see another one, considering how well Na'Vi are playing. It doesn't look like Big can just touch them. It's just ridiculous how strong Na'Vi's defense are. If we look at the situations that Big have found where they could potentially have success, I can think of maybe 2 occasions, and one was off of that B rush, and the other was off of, I think, what, 1D? I forget exactly. Like I forget how the pick happens from middle, but either way, it's not a good look, but there you go. Speaking about Deagles, pistols, as ever, providing problems here. Simple picks off one again. Xantares is down. This is really a hard spot with an AWP. He's in a lot of trouble. There's a quick one. That's a beautiful work there from Simple. He may have done enough. Flamey gets a double as well. So it seems like enough has been done because now Nex is in a 1 versus 2. He has full Kevlar and a helmet as well. But it wouldn't really matter the helmet as he's against AKs.
I think
he's find a way to win this.
I think he's trying to fake with some sound cues, perhaps in case somebody was up there, but you'd normally find Flamey there, I think. Well, of course, he just doesn't know. The longer this goes on for, maybe the more likely there is to be one player per site. Edward seems to have the superior angle, though. Okay! Okay, then. Can't have been expecting that. Next with a very important jump into that short position. Does he read a rotation towards B and go towards A? Zeus now takes the place of his fallen opponent. Does he stay in this area and CT spawn? Does he continue towards B? Next walks in. Zeus not sure where to go. No sound cues. Complete guesswork for him. And he may back off towards A, but he'll soon find out that it's going to be B. As Next looks to plant the bomb.
He's still walking towards A. Oh, okay, now he's realized. Alright, this is going to be an interesting retake for Zeus. It's all about outsmarting your opponent here and trying to... It's just pure guesswork. Does Next go in the obvious position based off the plant? Or does he try to fake you out and double bluff it? There's so many different ways you can play this. Next has taken a pretty strong position to smoke down to really force Nex out of position, and now Zeus knows where he is. Can he find an angle though? Going for the spray! That's so close! Can he finish it off? Oh my god, he's so damn close through the wall. Nex is forced out, and Zeus does get the kill, but it's the round. It's the all-important 1 round by Big. Well played to Nex to finish it off for them.
Yeah, when I saw Electronic, the only person on the A-bomb site not able to fall back to CT, and Big bursting out of Palace and so on, just saw it as one of those rounds where there's a weird but very reasonable chance that Big are able to capitalize. Flamey had a 2-man spray down, I think, in the connector position, but it wasn't enough. 1 versus 2, and Big get their first round on the board. But again, the fashion in which they won that round, I think, is very telling, especially with how the other 11 rounds have gone. Simple smoked off quickly in that window position. Big bursting through with 4 players. They will not be subjected to that smoke anymore, not for this round at the very least. But what do they do with their map control? Na'Vi have been comfortable allowing Big to be in that mid position. You can't plant the bomb in mid. You've got more work to do. That'll certainly help. Edward getting taken out, top connector.
Simple looming though. And the catwalk position, the timing. Just missing the player chair. And oof, goes back to the angle. That's actually unfortunate timing for Simple to lose the position on chair and then to peek back into it. And already Tabson's posted up with the AWP. And what happens? Tabson's the one that takes the damage. I don't know how that works, but Simple stays alive.
Because Simple.
Because Simple. Yes, indeed.
Flamey's pushed T-ramp. Now he can stay there. Simple's got a smoke in B-apps and he's looking towards short, I do believe. But Na'Vi, it's not really clear as to where the T's might be going. And with Flamey seeing no one in T-spawn, do they start to move towards B? They know that there's a lot of people in mid, so it could really go either way. Electronic checking Palace for now. Zeus starting to wonder, moving towards B as Big streaming quietly towards A. It's going to be a nasty surprise for Electronic, and with the push from Flamey, he's got all the wrong information, unfortunately. Now it's Electronic on his own. 2 players sweeping in. The fast pick, they know someone's going to be here. They were lining up for him, but he only gets 1.
And now it's like it's such a long rotation and they are out of position. Their money really sucks, so they're going to just hold on to what they have, go for the immediate save. As you say, James, really nice mind games there where Big basically cut noise in middle and Na'Vi had so little info. And they had to pick, and they decided to pick the B play. Big backing into B, but instead Big kept it simple and crept their way towards the A bomb site. Nice call from them to get them their 2nd round. The fact that it's so hard to pick up rounds against Na'Vi right now is really scary, and it's really entertaining to watch the rounds in which Big are playing well. and picking up these rounds. Although it has been few, or far too few, if you're a big fan. But part of the reason is because, I mean, if we see some of the rounds in which Big have won, it's actually been based on out-positioning Na'Vi mostly. Because when it comes to just fighting them in heads-up plays, Simple does too much damage, generally speaking, and that's kind of the problem.
Yeah. Now, again, if you are a big fan, I wouldn't be too deterred, as I said before, with what's happening on Mirage, because I would expect them to have a 3-map plan. Expect them to win it in 3. They can always try and do it in 2. Big now looking to burst into the B bomb site with some distraction run in that middle position. Edward caught with a grenade, but he's still alive. Some HEs towards Tetris as well. Tizian loses half his life, and so does Nex. He's gone now. Some spray from Electronic elsewhere. Is there a trade? Around this jungle connector position, big players are falling. 5 versus 2. No kills in response. Tabson completely exposed, but here are 2 quick kills from God B, leading by example. But is there more in a tank for Big in round 14?
It's a very critical smoke there. Simple is smoked off, and so is Edward. The flank is coming in via Zeus. Oh, that is a money grenade. It's down to Zeus, really, to get Simple into a position to do this. Zeus needs to activate Simple. There's a nice distraction. Now Simple can push forwards, and it's beautiful. Great teamwork coming in from the 2 of them, and they'll finish off the round. Another plant for Big, but unfortunately for them, they can't conclude the round in success. 12-2 for Na'Vi.
19-2. 19-4-2 for Simple. Okay, look at those stats, man.
I think one of his deaths was in a
third.
pistol.
Look at Dan, 13.51. It's the first map. That's crazy. There's value to be had there.
Is there, James?
Yeah, man.
It's
yeah,
12-2, mate.
Yeah. No, but it's a best of 3 series. I'm telling you.
But that's for the map, though.
It's only for the map.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it says.
Okay, well maybe I'm just burning people's cash then. In that case. All right.
Well, Simple's back at it again with one in mid as it's a fast play from Godby up catwalk, but he will be sent back to where he came, and Flamey plays around the fence, and this is not a bad look. Simple does go down, but so 4 versus 2 now as Edward picks up one as well in middle. So this mid aggression has been answered very well. Fight fire with fire. Nex again has to do a lot of work here. Way too much. It's not going to happen. 13-2. Na'Vi, just ridiculously strong CT side. Simple 20 for 3. Really says it all.
Yeah. But again, it's if Godby's plan is to win it in 3 maps, which is, I'm sure he'll estimate that as the most likely scenario, then it's not as bad as it looks, as long as they can turn up on the next one.
Yeah,
this isn't an indication of what the next map is going to be like should Na'Vi close this out in convincing fashion. So again, I would not be too upset if you're a big fan of Big Clan.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. If there's any faltering on Dust 2 for Na'Vi, if it does go Overpass, I could definitely see a world where Big get a lot of play. Overpass was always a map that I feel like Big had a lot of potential with. I really enjoyed the Smooya Tabson combo on Overpass in when they used to play it a lot, but obviously Smooya's gone now and they've got Nex back in the mix. Either way, we will see the pistol. Na'Vi going towards A, and we actually do have 2 players pretty deep here for Big. They're going to be fighting pretty close range. Ooh, okay. Well, that's not gone well, has it? 3 players left now for Big, as Tizian he must get something. There's one nice pop. Has to find at least 1 or 2 more here on the triple position before they claim the bomb site, but the bomb site will be claimed.
Got B with some spam. Flamey's inbox is very full, and this is still doable. But next with dual elites, dual bretters, whichever you prefer. Not the most accurate pistols in the game. Took them towards the B bomb side, I guess, for a potential rush. Up close to spam, the extra bullets might have been quite something. But now on the retake towards A, it is less than ideal, that is for sure. I hate them personally. So we'll see if he has to lean on Godby. The 2 players don't have a kit between them. Maybe there's one on the floor somewhere. Na'Vi not showing, and they can choose to burst with 3 players. Edward throwing a flashbang over the roof. They're really prepared for this, but look at those 2 fast frags. But again, he's got no kit. Even if he gets a quick one, I don't think there's time to win this round. He's got no Kevlar. He's got nothing to lose, God B. Just looking for the extra $300. Is there a peek from Edward? There is, and he gets his value. Always efficient is God B. That was all he could get from the round, and he got that at the very least, which is a good sign to see for the games to come.
14-2, though, is the score for Na'Vi, and they are poised to close Mirage very, very quickly indeed. What can Big do to stop them? They're going to buy up as much as they can. As I think Gobby dropped an M4 for Xantares, so really just scraping the bottom of the barrel there to see whatever they can find. Gobby's been the sacrifice, and they're going to have to try to hope that Xantares will find good positions to use that M4, and it's going to be so hard. Na'Vi looking just to barrel into the A-bomb site here, and Tizian, he's shown some good deeks so far, so if he can provide some more and then Xantares comes in through connector, there's some work to be done here.
I think Xantares, at least before the silenced M4 change, was an M4A4 player. I don't know how much he uses the silenced M4. So it'll be interesting if he's got to try and sort out the spray. Tizian doing the best he can, finally getting there. Okay, Xantares, 2 headshots, very fast indeed. How could I ever doubt the man? 4 versus 2 all of a sudden. If Na'Vi choose to rotate away from this position, there are weapons to collect, so they've got to force their way forward with these 2 players. Fleming taking some damage. Very high and exposed to a number of players. Xantares deleting everybody on the A-bomb site. 4 kills for him, but they are still 11 rounds behind.
Well then, that's exactly why Gobby dropped him the rifle. So he's the one man you want it on, but as you say, it is indeed a long road back. Xantares. What a beast. Really good to see him. It's always really entertaining to watch Xantares.
You say, well, yeah, it is. I was going to say, maybe not in this game, but he did just get 4 kills, so...
Right, I mean, yeah, if you get some spots...
Yeah, give him a gun, he will shoot, he will kill. There we go, he's got his M4A4 now. So, maybe there's... I mean, worst case scenario, I think if you look at the odds of Na'Vi converting this map, they're pretty good. And in most cases, I think if you're big, you just want to get it out of the way, take the trap score and be gone with it, but at least the team can have a little warm-up with these rounds they've got. Again, it's not guaranteed that they'll lose this. Who knows? There could be a stark difference now that they're on the CT side from what we saw on the T side. That has been the case for some of the other matches, but of course the overall level of skill, team-wise, player-wise, is higher in this particular match. Now Electronic has an AK-47. Simple's on a Deagle. Common situation in a round such as this. And there goes Electronic. The AK collected by Edward. He's got Kevlar as well, as does Zeus. There goes Edward.
Nice flick. Simple with the Deagle left alive. Can he find any magic here with this one? It's got that new fresh Deagle skin. Gobby coming in from below, and Simple has to make quite the flick, but he can't connect to the heads. 14-4. It's a towering, like Na'Vi are towering above Big with that scoreline, but slowly but surely, Big are nibbling away at it. However, the AKs will be coming in sooner than later for Na'Vi, and once that happens, the margin for error is just so small for Big that Na'Vi could almost B-rush every round, and one of those rounds they're probably going to win them. It's okay, maybe that's not the maybe B-rush is not the one I would choose actually, but you get the points. And just fall safer, except Simple on the Deagle again. There was definitely a time when I felt like Simple would always get 1. Whenever he gets a Deagle, he'll always get 1 at least. Doesn't matter the situation. That was always fun.
Was flashed into T-ramp, saw that nobody was around the initial corner, but he didn't go too far away. So Big have an idea that there's a fair chance it will be a B play. There's a deep smoke in B apartments at the moment. But Na'Vi look to move towards top mid now, as they are deterred from moving towards B. A second smoke, Simple will keep an eye on it. Some spam. But it is a Deagle and 4 Glocks, so regardless of where they go, they are likely doomed in a situation such as this. Tabson awaits somebody to make a play up top mid. Na'Vi will try to squeeze out everything from Big. Grenades, maybe a weapon. Run boost. Simple, trying to invite a shot, trying to get information before exposing too much of himself. Looking at 2 frags in connector, and now there are weapons to collect. They've got a man advantage as well. 40 seconds on the clock. They could do with a little more. Tizian pushing through ramp again, it seems, to make sure he has that information that will help to plant the bomb. And indeed, Simple's got an AWP, but there are 30 seconds on the clock.
They got to move fast. The bomb indeed rotating through towards the B-bomb side. Nex has to stop it. He's the only person that can stop this from getting really out of control. A couple kills, that's all he needs. There's number 1. Simple's the next guy, the boss with the AWP. And Nex, he's got so much to worry about. And Simple knows exactly what to do. Takes him out. And what an unlikely round to pick up. It's not over just yet, however, but they have a really good chance. They're Simple on the AWP, defending, already with 3 kills in this round. He may have to get all 5 at this rate because Zeus is critically wounded. 4, and that's number 5! Of course it is. Simple with the ace. They started the round with 4 Glocks and a Deagle, and sure enough, Simple converts.
He's just too good.
He is way too good at this game.
He is too good. Close-up Deagle shots in the connector position, but you have to give credit to his team as well. Obviously, Flamey's there taking bullets for the president. Simple is the president. But again, his team get him into a position to win in the first place. So yes, he gets the ace, but we can't just forget about his whole team as well.
Yes, we can, Jay. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Chant it with Dan, people.
Oh my God. Oh, what do you do against that? It's so awesome to watch. Not so much to be on the receiving end of, I'm sure, but looks like the Na'Vi team will be taking things fairly slow here. Big with it's not the worst. Well, it's not a great buy. It's not great, James. 2 Orcs, the only rifles that they can offer up in this round.
Xantares has made his way through the palace, and Simple, is he going towards B-Apps? He's going to peek T-spawn, and he's going to lose the bomb to Xantares at long range. So that's something, but I don't know if Xantares can really afford to try and defend the bomb here on his own. He smoked it off. There's 50 seconds. Electronic and Zeus are on the way, so there could be variance here for both sides. They're getting grenades out. Can he pick the right timing? He can. Switching out for the AWP, but there's a trade from Electronic. He doesn't know what's behind the smoke. He'll go straight through it. Towards the A-bomb site. Tizzy's on the stairs. Flamey's in connector. Edward, I think, is moving into the ladder room position. There's Flamey not ready to fire the shot, but there is a trade for Electronic. He's got an open A-bomb site. He doesn't realize it is a gamble for him to plant a bomb, but he's got to do it. There's 25 seconds left. Edward in jungle is planted for everywhere. Next on the short position, and Gobby's crawling through the jungle. This could go either way, Dan.
Yeah, it's a long rotation, though, for Nex, at least. He's going to have to go through connector. Edward's watching over that. And Gobby's taking him out. Now it's down to Electronic, the second best player on the team. Let's see if he can make this one work. 1 versus 2. He's already got a couple kills in the bag. They have no idea where he is. Snaps the neck of the first one and goes in for the finish onto Nex. He's done it. 16-4. Even if you take down Simple, you still have a lot of problems on your hands if you're playing against Na'Vi. And that, James, was a ridiculous showing from Na'Vi. Simple from start to finish was just amazing.
Yes, it was an exhibition, I think. Yes. But again, as devastating as the play was, the way the rounds played out, if you've briefed your team properly and you thought that in most cases you're going to have to win it in 3 maps and you're not going to win Mirage, then the good thing is that your team can leave positive. They don't seem to be too upset about it, which is quite important. Yeah. So again, while it looks devastating, if you're big and you're planning for 3, it's not a big deal. It might look like a big deal, but I don't think it necessarily has to be.
I think going into Dust 2, the series becomes open now. It's kind of like that map, just get it out of the way with.
Yeah.
And there are many 2 maps completely open. I think if Big can somehow take Dust 2, and Dust 2 has been a map where Big have had loads of tactics and they've been somewhat of a specialist team there in the past. I definitely think there's a world where they do that. And if they get to Overpass, the series is, far from over. I think we have to really take it with a pinch of salt there.
Can they get there? The analysts will let you know after the break.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
I'll take that. Yes. Hells yes. Oh, armed and dangerous. Oh, hell yes.
Hellcase. Big update and new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.